Hello everyone, I once again welcome you all to Insights 21 into often heard less known things. Today we will discuss regarding the chapter Residential Status and Incidence of Tax in IT-01. So all BCOM 5th semester students, please follow this video, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, and before watching this video, please do have a watch of part 1 and part 2 in the same playlist, that is Income Tax 1, specially made for BCOM 5th semester students. So before starting, I would like to give you a basic introduction regarding this chapter. So when it comes to residential status, there are three types of residential status. So the three types of residential status are ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, and non-resident. So these are the three types of residential status, and we will see how will the tax affect when it comes to residential status of a person or an individual. Before going to the problems, let's discuss regarding some shortcuts as well as tricks and follow some tables which I put on to this table so that it gets easier in order to solve 4 marks as well as 12 marks problem from second chapter. So the first trick, or before discussing the residential status, we will discuss the conditions, basic as well as additional conditions. Basic conditions for residence and additional conditions for residence. So if you follow this video properly and all those things which I write on this board, it will be very easy for you guys in order to solve problems irrespective of the difficulty level. So basic conditions are discussed under section 6 of 1. Additional conditions are discussed under section 6 of 6. So basic conditions are as follows. An individual should have stayed minimum of 182 days in the previous year. So you people might have understood what is previous year and assessment year. So this is very important. So this is the first basic condition under section 6 of 1. The second condition is you should have stayed a minimum of 60 days in the previous year, and this is not or, this is and, he should have stayed 1 year, that is 365 days out of 4 preceding previous year. So preceding previous year is a year before previous year. So a year after previous year will be assessment year, and all these things would be preceding previous year. So you should have this basic knowledge in order to solve the problems which arise in chapter 2. As I earlier said, additional conditions for residence or resident is discussed under section 6 of 6. So the two main additional conditions are Additional conditions only deal with preceding previous years and not previous years. I'll keep only this on the board so that you people have more clarity. Additional conditions for residence are as follows. A person should have stayed minimum of 2 years. 2 years in 10 preceding previous years. 10 preceding previous years, and it's the same, but here the number will change. A person should have stayed minimum of 2 years, that is 730 days. 730 days out of 7 preceding previous years. So to have more clarity, I will name this as A and I will name this condition as B, this one as 1 and this one as 2. Very soon in the video, you will understand the reason behind why I named basic conditions as A and B and additional conditions as 1 and 2. So after this, we have some notes regarding basic 3 notes or important 3 notes when it comes to residential status of a person. So let's discuss the note. So hope you people have written what I have written on the board, what I have put on the board. There are 3 important notes. Ordinary resident, not ordinary resident and non-resident. So it is very easy to memorize. For an ordinary resident, both basic conditions as well as additional conditions should satisfy. Only then he is called as an ordinary resident. Basic and additional conditions should satisfy. For not ordinary resident, one basic condition and one additional condition should satisfy. For a non-resident, neither basic conditions nor additional conditions will satisfy. Basic won't satisfy as well as additional conditions also doesn't satisfy. So to have more clarity regarding the 3 main notes that I have put on the board, we will make another important chart on the same board after erasing this, so that you people can solve 4-mark questions more easily and efficiently. So the major learnings till now are assessment year, previous year and preceding previous year, and we should also know the difference between or and or as well as and. These are the major learnings and you should know the difference between these two. So this is a very easy table of conclusion regarding residential status and incidence of tax. So second chapter, 4-mark question. 4-mark question. We have discussed completely regarding this, and in part 2 we will discuss how to solve problem or how to apply these techniques in the problems. So now here A and B. So this is why I told you guys to mention the basic conditions and additional conditions as A, B, 1 and 2. So if basic as well as additional conditions A and B as well as 1 and 2, if all the 4 conditions satisfy, the person is said to be an ordinary resident or resident and ordinary resident. If only one basic condition A, that is A, satisfies and both 1 and 2, that is additional conditions 1 and 2 satisfy, he is ordinary resident. Only the condition, that is basic condition B, satisfies this one and both 1 as well as 2 additional conditions satisfy, he is ordinary resident. If A or B, 1 or 2, either A or B or 1 or 2, not both, it will be A or B, 1 or 2, then he is called not ordinary resident. If only condition B satisfies and in basic condition, and if only the condition additional condition 2 satisfies, then he is called not ordinary resident. If neither of the basic conditions nor the additional conditions satisfy, or if they doesn't satisfy, to keep it very simple, he is a non-resident. So this is how I ended up summarizing this chapter, that is 4-mark questions, in a very simpler way. So this will help us to solve questions in a very easy manner. In the same video, after we discussed regarding 4-mark questions, now it's time to discuss about 12-mark question. 12-mark questions. I would also like to tell you people that we are not only focusing on 4 marks or 12-mark questions, we are also focusing on the basics as well as theoretical concepts in IT-01, which is the syllabus of BCOM 5th semester students. So the tricks to solve 12-mark questions sorry, types of incomes. Types of incomes, this is very important. The types of incomes are Indian income, foreign income, controlled income, and exempted income. These are the 4 types of incomes. Now it's time to know how these types of income are affecting the residential status of a person. So ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, and non-resident. So when the income is an Indian income, we will consider it for ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, as well as a non-resident. So if the income is a foreign income, we will consider only ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, and non-resident. These two will not be considered for foreign income. When it is a controlled income, we will consider ordinary resident as well as not ordinary resident, but we won't consider a non-resident. For exempted income, as the name says, we are not considering or giving exemption to ordinary resident, not ordinary resident, as well as non-resident. So in order to solve 12-mark question, this table is very important. So this is how I would like to sum up chapter 2, that is residential status and incidence of tax, in income tax 1 for BCOM 5th semester students. So these are the most important things that we discussed in chapter 2. With this, we can solve 4 marks as well as 12 marks question which arise from this particular chapter. So in part 2, keeping these tricks, we will solve the questions which arise from chapter 2. So these tricks are very important. Before you watch part 2, watch this and watch the next part in the same playlist. We are left with very few adjustments which can be only understood while solving the problems. So when it comes to solving problems, we will be solving these problems, that is the problems which are related to the second chapter, in the next part. So until then, take care, and if you haven't subscribed to Insights 21, please do subscribe, and with these tricks you can solve every kind of problem which arise from chapter 2, be it 4 mark or 12 mark. So until then, take care and subscribe to Insights 21 if you haven't subscribed. Thank you for watching.